So far, I've really enjoyed making these YouTube videos, and they're definitely way more work than I thought they would be. The whole reason I even wanted to start making these videos in the first place is to have a place to experiment and grow. And so far, we're only 6 videos into the year, and it's already so cool to be able to see the progress. Most importantly, these videos have me feeling super excited about making something for myself again. I started out shooting these videos just on my iPhone. Then I gave GoPros a try, and finally I switched to an R5. And with the R5, I set up a scene and tried to light it nicely. I tried 2 different focal lengths in that scene and even added an overhead camera angle. At the same time, I tried out this 2:3:9:1 aspect ratio that I've really been enjoying so far. From there, I started shooting more B-roll, and then I introduced this desk scene. It was my first time shooting in this corner, and I just used the same overhead light setup, but I did try a 24mm focal length. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really didn't like the lighting in that last video. It just looked sourcey and unnatural, so here we are trying something new. The goal for this setup was to make it look a little more natural and use a practical to motivate the light in the scene. So I set up a GoPro time lapse and just started messing around for a bit. I started with a Quasar tube behind the monitor. Then I remembered I actually had a little lamp in here. I tried it on the left side and then the right side of the monitor. Then I just tried raising the levels in the room with an Aputure MC overhead. And eventually I got to this look. Now before I tell you, try to guess how many light sources I'm using. The answer is 7. I'm using 7 different light sources for this scene right now. So I'm gonna turn all of them off and I'll turn them on one by one so you can kind of see what each one is doing. So this is all of the lights off. Let's start by turning on the lamp and changing the temperature of it. Next, we'll open up the MacBook screen. Next, we have our lava lamp. Then we have our Quasar tube. Next, we have our Aputure 21X. Above me to the right is an Aputure MC. And then in front of me, we have another Quasar tube. So that's all 7 sources. I'm gonna grab the R5 and do a little walkthrough of the setup. All right, so here's the setup. We have our Aputure F21X. I also have a little flag next to it so it doesn't reflect in the window. Here's the Quasar tube, and I'm just using my water bottle as a stand. It's lighting up this back wall. Here is our lava lamp. We have our practical right here. Above that was the Aputure MC, and I just had a little gaff tape flagging it off from hitting the wall, and it's just boomed out on this stand. Here we have the MacBook. We have our second Quasar tube, and then we have our C50. So yeah, let me know what you think about the setup, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh yeah, the next one, I'm gonna go over all the things I like and don't like about the Canon C50. We'll see you there.